There is only one you, and that is your superpower. You can't F that up. However, you can get stuck. That's why I created this space called UnStuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons. UnStuck Yourself is about figuring out what has you feeling frustrated, isolated, or depleted of energy so that you're able to unstuck yourself on your journey through life when you don't know how to move forward. Unstuck yourself in your career that no longer excites and challenges you. Unstuck yourself with negative thoughts that seem to be doing cartwheels in your head consistently. I don't have the answers. You do. You always have. I'm providing the time, space, and grace for you to reconnect to that knowing. I'm Crystal Simmons, coach, speaker, and facilitator, and I'm grateful you made it here. Let's begin to unstuck yourself. Hold please. I'll be right back after these dope messages. Say cheese. We all know that is the universal signal for let's remember this moment together by tilting our heads to the side and showing off all of our teeth and smiling, right? But have you started tilting your head to the side and avoiding showing off your pearly whites? Maybe you've noticed that the tooth in the front is being super antisocial with your other teeth. So rude. That is completely normal, but it doesn't have to be your case. Back in January 2021, I realized the shifting of my teeth was getting increasingly worse, and I found myself occasionally slurring my words and at times avoiding certain words altogether. Y'all, I was speaking more. I was going live on Instagram more, but I felt like my teeth were holding me back from sharing those gems I was speaking. Thankfully, my sister told me how cool the peeps at Bates Orthodontics were and how close they were to my house. Listen, you can give me good people who love their job and the people they serve, and I'm in there. I gave them a ring, scheduled my consult, and the rest is straight teeth history. Bates Orthodontics has multiple locations in the Richmond area, and my favorite go-to is their new location in Chesterfield, where Dr. G is providing top-notch care with a side of humor that brings comfort to any newbie interested in being straight teeth peep. I love Bates Orthodontics because they invite me to ask all of my stuck questions. Y'all know I love questions, but they do so without making me feel like I'm a bother to them. They are there to help bring your smile back to life with Invisalign. Invisalign treatment is the clear alternative to metal braces, which I also had decades ago, but I didn't wear my retainer, but that's another story. Invisaligns are for kids, teens, and adults. Call Bates Orthodontics today at 804-258-4268. Again, call Bates Orthodontics at 804-258-4268. Or you can visit them at batesbraces.com. BATESBRACES.com. batesbraces.com and schedule your free consult by clicking the bright green button at the top and following 3 easy steps to reserve your appointment today. Bates Orthodontics, where we're bringing smiles to life. And no worries if you're not local to Richmond, Virginia. Just visit Invisalign.com and enter your zip code to find the right Invisalign provider for you in your area. Be sure to tell the dope folks at Bates Orthodontics Crystal Simmons sent you from the Unstuck Yourself with Crystal Simmons podcast. Hey, hey, beautiful peeps. It's Crystal, your Unstuck Yourself coach to women who have said, I'm done more times than they could count, but they're ready to make a change. And I do so by helping them uncover mindset blocks and boosting their confidence to take the next step of unstucking themselves with ease. And as life keeps lifing, Crystal AAAs will increase your awareness to what is and isn't working, highlight your innate abilities to take purposeful action, and thus be the most dope-tastical, dope fanatic, dopest peep ever. I miss y'all. Whenever I do these interview episodes, I feel like it's been such a long stretch from me talking to y'all and giving y'all a Crystal Town update. So I know I mentioned a few weeks ago that I applied for a job and I got the job and I received my official offer letter. And I'll be figuring out what my schedule will be. It is fully remote. I start on Monday, April the 25th. And I'm just looking forward to working with these dope individuals that I met during my 3 rounds of interviews. And I'll also have a more structured schedule, which I have been missing. Being an entrepreneur, planning things where it's working on the administrative stuff and then marketing yourself, creating that marketing either through a post or some type of medium where you might use, like me, podcasting or blogging, or you're doing speeches, panelists, such an array of things, but also to add chilling, living life. So I'm excited to start this job. I know it is going to require me to wake up early in the morning, which I'm actually looking forward to, because even in my corporate job, I went into work early, and I remember being so focused and determined to get whatever I needed done. And it gave me a sense of relief so that I had all of my to-dos completed before I went out and walked around and talked to my employees. But then my supervisor wanted me to stay late on top of me coming in early. And I was like, no. So I'm happy to get back into that of starting my day early, being productive, and then having time for me and, life things. This also will allow me to really structure the time that I want to put into coaching and also podcasting. I'm excited about it. And I'm more excited about growing as a coworker, as an employee, and learning new systems, learning new people, new connections, new programs, interacting with new people, especially with the growth journey I have been on. Implementing that into real life while being new to all of this. And I know in a previous episode, I spoke about optimal anxiety. I'm really looking forward to that because I remember the benefit I got from, oh, this is new. Oh, I feel very insecure. Oh, I'm worried. Oh, breathe. I'm more than capable of learning new things. That is what life is about. Every day is a new day. So yeah, excited about the new job. Can't wait. Also, about 2 weeks ago, I suggested an impromptu drive to Maryland, kind of like outside the DC area, for a Black podcasters meet and greet. And the hubs, Devon, he was all for it. I proposed it to him the day before because when they posted the event, the dates and the day didn't match. And I believe that Saturday I had something to do. I can't remember. But thankfully they emailed me back and clarified, no, it's actually tomorrow. It's Friday. And I was like, oh. So they had an event that is going to be happening in Atlanta next month. And I really wanted to go to that. So I got the idea of, okay, realistically, is this the best time for me to travel to Atlanta, which I've been, but also that expense in networking? Obviously, this is a larger scale event than it is for a meet and greet pop-up in Maryland, but I wanted to test the waters. So Devon was dope and he said, yeah, let's do it. And when we were driving, we were having the best conversation, and it reminded me of how much I miss traveling with him. We were joking, we were laughing, and then I had the thought of, oh, wait, we should record a podcast episode. And he was like, how do you do that? I'm like, Anchor, do it right here on my phone. That's where we started. My goodness, peeps. It was dope SF. I cannot wait to premiere that episode. I'll do that in the month of May since that's our anniversary month. But such a good intro to how we met, our ups and downs, ins and outs, life and lifing. So I'm definitely looking forward to sharing that with you all. That'll be out in May. But to add to this meet and greet with with other Black podcasters, because no one came from Richmond, Virginia, but some were from the DC area. I forgot, someone else drove a good little bit to get there. But I got to meet different podcast hosts, which was really cool. There were 3 that shared their podcast with the group. And forgive me for the other ones. But there was one, he was there representing him and his wife. The podcast is called Room 19. It's a weekly podcast about a married couple's experiences, while one is serving in the USAF and the other is a DOD civilian. I did not look that up, and I don't know what that means. The second one is Not Another Kinky Cast, with cast spelled with the letter K. This one was very interesting. It's a power exchange dynamic looking to promote their ventures as well as empower, educate, and relate to others. BDSM, poly, kinky, and yeah. So I still don't know what half of that means either because I did not look it up. But all of that, it was speaking another language, but it did pique my curiosity because it's like a whole new world of just people doing things that I kind of heard about, but yet once you dive into that realm, oh no, it's more than you thought or assumed it was, which I thought was cool. And then the other podcast was Fish Food, which is a podcast with bite-sized accounting advice and interviews for freelancers and entrepreneurs. They provide episodes that are 25 minutes or less. Dope woman doing that. It was really cool to listen to that, and I look forward to diving in a little bit more, but I've been putting those into rotation. It's been refreshing and extremely entertaining. But yeah. Oh, and I'm on TikTok. Not knowing what the hell I'm doing, but if you're over that way, find me at Crystal Clear Purposes. Which is funny because I just knew someone would have that. So I'm so glad I was able to snag that username, I guess is what you call it. I posted a couple of things, but I'm looking forward to upping my ante of sharing videos of client testimonies, my perspective, me being a coach, work with my clients, and things of that nature. Y'all ready to get into today's episode? Oh, let's get into it. Today we'll be talking about how curiosity can be just as powerful as having confidence. Y'all know I love definitions. So yeah, confidence. It's a noun. And confidence is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. And confidence can also be defined as firm trust. Similar words obviously is trust, belief, faith, credence, conviction, reliance, and dependence. And it's the state of feeling certain about the truth of something. And the last definition is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities and qualities. So look at that. One of Crystal A's is in the definition. My question to you is, when do you find yourself feeling or being confident? Is it while you're working? Maybe you have a way of writing really dope emails, or maybe you have a way of synthesizing notes during company meetings. Do you feel more confident cooking? I enjoy cooking. I definitely feel more confident cooking. However, with new recipes, I sort of get a little nervous because what if it's trash? What if it's not good? Maybe you're more confident when you're more physically active, playing sports, moving your body, sweating. I will say when I used to do CrossFit, I was more confident in doing the workout and just moving and sweating. I think sweating to me was like, yeah, I'm doing something. But we did the strength training where we would do back squats, front squats, blah, 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 blah. I did not like that. And I didn't feel as confident as doing that. Maybe you're more confident in speaking, being the one to give information or the center of attention. Are you someone who never feels confident? Maybe you're like, how are all these people confident? How? What they have? Do you wonder what that feels like or what it would feel like to you to have confidence in something and be able to feel that assurance, like self-assurance of your own abilities? Because that's what confidence is. Have you ever faked it to make it? This saying doesn't bother me one way or another. I'm most confident when I have a strong sense of myself. Sometimes my confidence will come from me knowing what to expect of things. And what I mean by that is when I have been invited to an event and I am understanding of what the attire is, what the expectations are of me. Is it just mingling? Is it I'm going to have to talk about myself and have my who am I speech ready? Is it, no, you just chill. We're just talking. We're just having fun. You'll talk if you want to talk. Is there food there? Will I be hungry? So yeah, those are a few things that used to be my go-to, where I need to know who's going to be there. I need to know what is expected of me. I need to know how long I'm going to be there. I need to know what I should wear. My confidence will come from that knowledge. But now, as I recognize the importance of being aware of what it is I do and don't want, and recognize what my abilities are in any given moment, to then take my own action that I desire to take. Having those three allows me to be confident. And if I go back, it is, do I really want to do this event? Do I really want to partake in meeting new people? Do I want to take a walk around the neighborhood? My confidence comes from me being more aware of myself, my current state, emotions, my thoughts, my goals, my desires. And I'm least confident when I don't have that knowing, where I don't have a goal in mind. And the goal could be, I want to relax today. The goal could be, I want to record a episode for my podcast. The goal can be, I want to laugh with some friends over some really good French fries. It could be whatever. That awareness of what it is that I do want and what it is I don't want. And it can change at any given moment, day, month, season. That is where I'm most confident. So we just went over confidence. I want to go over curiosity. Curiosity is a noun, and it is defined as a strong desire to know or learn something. And the similar words are inquisitiveness, interest, spirit of inquiry, and nosiness. So when we are talking about this episode and highlighting how curiosity can be just as powerful as having confidence, and confidence is self-assurance arising from your own appreciation of your abilities, feeling certain about the truth of something, defining curiosity of a strong desire to know or learn something can fuel your confidence. If you come in being very inquisitive about any situation, people, events, goals, as I say that, what are you feeling? And when do you find yourself being curious, having that strong desire to know or learn something? For me, meeting new people, it's like, oh, just off the bat, a couple questions ran through my mind. What is their name? Where do they live? Have they always lived here? Do they have thoughts of moving? What do they spend most of their time doing? Do they enjoy it? How often do they do it? And it just goes on and on. I'm so curious to learn more about people and how they spend their time and what they enjoy. Do you get curious about learning a new skill? I mentioned earlier in this episode, I'm curious about learning a new skill with working at my part-time job and working with new programs and learning how to utilize those programs effectively and efficiently. That excites me, of giving myself space and grace to, all of this is going to be new. Probably going to have to take notes, step-by-step directions for myself so I can refer to, ask for help, and not just isolate myself with my notes and being like, I need to figure this out, but being more vulnerable and exposed. Do you get curious when you're watching TV, a movie, a new show that is piquing your interest? Like, oh, this is good. Do you have a desire of like, I wonder what's going to happen? I wonder who that actor is. I wonder if I've seen them in other stuff. That's all curiosity. What about listening to music? I stayed being curious of how Mariah Carey could use the biggest words I've never heard before in her songs. Like, how did she do that? And me looking it up because I want to know what it means. But I can get curious about almost anything. And my question to you is, when do you find yourself being the most curious? What does that feel like when you're in that curiosity mode of, I wonder, or I'm curious, and then just list those things out? How does that feel? To me, I get excited. I'm just like, oh, so many questions. I just want to know. And typically, when I ask a question and someone answers it, sometimes in their answer, I have another question to follow up with that answer. And that gives me confidence of I don't need to know everything. Like, I'm incapable of knowing everything. I will never know everything. So giving myself the chance to learn and be in that focus field of learning something new or knowing something new and allowing someone else the power, the confidence to share what makes them them, what do they spend their time doing, that builds connection. And that's a strong value of mine. It's rare that I'm not curious, unless I'm tired or just like burned out. Like, whatever. That happens too. And when someone tells you their name, when you're meeting a new person, I find myself asking them, especially if it's a name I haven't heard before, I'll ask them to say it again. I'll repeat it, and I'll ask them to spell it, because that way it usually helps me to see it, to remember it, but also it normally helps them give me a tip of how to remember their name. Like, typically they'll be like, oh, it's this, just like that, without that letter. I'm like, thank you. So it's a plus for both of us. And I like that. Again, we both get to be involved in it. I also get curious when someone shares what their career is, like I mentioned before. They will say a title, and more times than not, I will have no idea what that title means or what they are doing. So I'll ask, so what does that look like day to day? And most people enjoy sharing the ins and outs of how they spend most of their day. And some people don't. And that's cool too. It's just, they allowed us the chance to have a deeper conversation and not a surface conversation. And one of my favorite was when I was in a interview and the HR assistant asked if I could share why I thought I would be a good fit for that role. And immediately I got curious and I asked, well, would you be open to sharing with me more details about the role day to day type format instead of what I read on the job description? And she quickly apologized, like, oh my God, yes, I'm so sorry. I knew I skipped something or I skipped ahead. And I could say back in the day, I probably would have just tried to piece together what I had read from the application or the job description that was online, instead of being curious and being like, hey, I know what I read on paper or on the computer, but can you give me a realistic day-to-day type of flow for this job expectation? Which helped bring curiosity in for the win, because she apologized. I got to be curious, which was a huge ding, ding, ding. Like, it was a huge message to me that I can ask questions and not be taken or dismissed as, did you read the job description? That just, it felt so reassuring and so just dope. I was feeling so good in that moment. So yeah, curiosity came through with the win. And I was so damn proud of myself for asking for what I needed and not trying to fake the confidence in that moment of, let me just piece some stuff together. Let me see what I can make it do what it do. Nope. And my curiosity also peaks when someone sees something from the total opposite end of how I view something, or how someone responds to a situation that is far from what I would do. And I am learning the power of non-judgment, but just being curious, like, because my thoughts are formed by past experiences, past assumptions, bias. Theirs might be created from the same things. Let me get curious and see. Like, just simple things. When people react and they get really, really mad, busy store. And I say that because, y'all, my first job was Marshall's. I was a cashier. And I remember people getting really, really upset at this one cashier, like looking at this one cashier like, come on, like what? After the cashier has asked for help, or maybe they don't have staff to ask for it. I always got curious of, do they think the cashier wants to be the only cashier up there helping? Like, they're thinking this is BS too, but they're not looking at the customers like, why are y'all still lining up in my line? Y'all see I got 15 people in this line and you want to be number 16? No. So that's always gotten me like, I'm curious, what are they thinking in this moment? Or like if I'm driving on the highway and there's always like this big SUV that you can see like coming up behind you, like speeding like 20 over. Keep in mind, there are no other cars around you, but yet they want your lane and they want to keep going that 20 miles per hour over the speed limit in this lane only. There are 2 lanes, sometimes 3 lanes open around me, ma'am, sir, person. Yet, your car only goes 20 miles per hour over the speed limit in this lane. Change lanes, human. Change lanes. Why make things so difficult? Yeah, I'm so curious about that. I am least interested in being curious, though, in an environment that is not supportive, that is highly negative, energy draining. Like, I'm still curious, but the conversation that is being had in my mind, instead of me having the moment to ask it out loud, which doesn't help me because I'm stuck in a place without receiving any clarity. So if there's an environment where it just doesn't feel supportive, it doesn't feel collaborative, I'm having this curiosity in mind, but the clarity isn't coming because I'm not speaking the thoughts. And that could be at work. It could be amongst friends. It could be amongst your partner. If they don't see eye to eye with your vision, they don't see eye to eye with your goals, you may be curious of, why can't you just support me? Or why can't you encourage me? But yet you're having this conversation in your mind and not with that individual, or not with a coach, not with a mentor, not with a therapist. That curiosity, when not expressed or released in order to create the clarity, create an understanding, to get another perspective, can leave you stuck. And I have learned that for myself, and that's why I have a therapist. I have a coach. I have this podcast, because sometimes when I say things just in the recording, I'm like, that was good. And sometimes it happens in the moment. Sometimes it happens after I record and I go to edit. I'll listen like, oh snap, I was dropping some gems. I didn't even realize I said that. That is so helpful. I'm going to grab a hold of that. I'm going to write that down, which is really, really dope. But yeah, I'm least curious. Well, I guess I can't say I'm least curious. I'm still curious. It is just processed in a different way that is at times not beneficial for my growth or clarity. So yeah, I hope this conversation has allowed you to see the importance of, even at times when you're not feeling confident, you can still be curious. Anybody can be curious, and you don't have to fake curiosity for anybody, for anything, because being curious is just having a strong desire to learn or know something. That's it. It doesn't have to be knowing something or learning something new, but just knowing something. And that knowing can come from just being more aware, having a different perspective, having that message shared a different way, and piquing that curiosity, tapping into your curiosity can build on that feeling, or having that belief that you can rely on something or someone, that you have that firm trust in yourself. And that is a definition of confidence. I would implore you all to incorporate being curious when you don't feel really confident. Use that time to allow someone else to share their confidence, their knowledge, and then that connection that you and that other individual or that other group have can be deepened because you showed up. You were willing to be vulnerable and open. So yeah, use curiosity. It's just as powerful, and it leads to confidence. One of my favorite principles from IPEX coaching program is each person we meet is our teacher and student. And that says it all. I truly hope today's topic has sparked something in you to take purposeful action by way of being confident or curious. You choose. You don't have to have everything figured out or fake it until you make it. Just make the purpose curiosity and you will succeed every damn time. So let's run through the unstuck questions and gems. Number 1, do you ever wonder what it would feel like to have that self-assurance of your own ability? Number 2, when you are more aware of your thoughts, goals, and desires, does that bring you a sense of confidence? Number 3, boosting your confidence could simply come from having that awareness of what you want and don't want. And number 4, confidence is self-assurance, which arises from your own appreciation of your own abilities and can be fueled by a strong desire to learn or know something. Number 5, that curiosity that is not expressed outwardly with a coach, therapist, or mentor can leave you stuck. Number 6, each person we meet is our teacher and student. Allow yourself to be a confident, curious student as life keeps lifing. And I want to say thank you all for spending time with me today and hopping aboard the dope train of unstucking yourself. I hope to have you here again next week. Until then, stay unstuck, peeps.